Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and today what we're going to talk about is the American foreclosure prevention crisis and what exactly is going on today with loan modifications. How much money are people saving and how much money are people getting forgiven off of their loan amount? And with unaffordability skyrocketing and homeowners struggling with unaffordability, filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy, loan modifications are going to become a regular occurrence in America. And that's one of the reasons why we have not currently seen a foreclosure crisis. Right now, lenders want to keep homeowners in their houses. Lenders are not in the business of selling real estate. Lenders are in the business of collecting interest. So they need people to make payments. They do not want people to get foreclosed on. And I will say this, you guys, as someone that went through foreclosure, I can tell you loan modifications these days are way different than the past. In the past, during the great financial collapse, loan modifications were relatively new. Today, we're going to jump into the Federal Housing Manager's Q1 report on foreclosure prevention. And if you guys can, before I pull up this report, understand I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a normal person who had a foreclosure, who is asking you from the bottom of my heart, please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, shoot me a comment below. I want to hear from you, hit notifications, and for the love of all that's holy, share this video. But either way, you guys, I hope you enjoy. So this is a 46-page detailed report. The link to this report will be in my description, so you guys can come back to the video, access the link if you really want to get detailed information. Starting with some highlights, and this is actually pretty remarkable. 6.77 million troubled homeowners have been helped during conservatorships or loan modifications. So the fact that they saved 6.7 million families from going into foreclosure, to me, is a huge success. Maybe I'm biased, you guys, but I do not think we should be getting inventory from people getting kicked out of their houses and thrown on the street. Now, what's interesting is 35% of loan modifications in Q1 of 2023 reduced borrower monthly payments by over 20%. There's been a lot of rumors that these loan mods are only taking $100 or $200 off of the mortgage payment. But when we get into this data, the reality is going to become very clear that many of these loan modifications are way more beneficial than we first realized. And a 20% reduction in payment is solid. Serious delinquency rate decreased 0.6% at the end of Q1 of 2023. However, real estate owned property or inventory did increase 2% in Q1 of 2023. Now, when we go over to the right here and we look at foreclosure prevention actions, we can see comparisons for quarter over quarter. So on the left side here is Q4 of 2022, and to the right is Q1 of 2023. Now, this is going to go over completed foreclosure prevention actions. Now, starting with loan modifications. So we ended Q4 of 2022 with 16,500 loan modifications. Q1 of 2023, it's down roughly 1,000, sitting at 15,500 loan modifications. So repayment plans have actually surged while loan modifications have gone down. Now, repayment plans has gone up from 2,400 to 3,000 in Q1. So repayment plans are going up. Forbearance plans also going up, ending Q4 at 10,000. Q1 of this year is 12,300. Now, charge-offs in lieu of foreclosure, 165. That's now 158. So pretty much no change there. Payment deferrals, Q4 of 2022 was 22,784. That has shot up to 27,069. So pretty much quarter over quarter, all of the payment plans or the deferrals have actually shot up, probably as a result of the overwhelming unaffordability, but the total amount of foreclosure prevention actions was 58,000 in Q1 of 2023. However, the total amount of repayment plans was 7,000. Total amount of forbearance plans was 65,000. Now, taking a look at the health of delinquencies, again, we're going to compare quarter over quarter. Now, starting with 30 to 59 days delinquent, it actually went down quarter over quarter to 218,000 from 281,000. Now, 60-day delinquencies are also down to 231,000 from 259,000. Same thing with serious delinquencies. That is down to 186,000. So all of the delinquency tiers are essentially down quarter over quarter. However, foreclosure starts are actually up quarter over quarter, almost hitting 20,000. Now, foreclosure sales has also gone up to 3,700 from 3,300. Now, REO inventory has also gone up 11,190 additional units to be sold. That's up from about the same, which was around 11,000 at the end of Q4 of 2022. You can see the delinquencies in percentage form, again, going down quarter over quarter, pretty much across the board. Taking a look at the chart on the right, as far as what loans have the highest amount of serious delinquency, it's obviously FHA mortgages. Right now, FHA mortgages have a serious delinquency, okay? Again, 90 days or more past due of 4%. 4%. So 4% of the people that have FHA mortgages right now are 90 days or more past due. Holy smokes. That's probably a result of the more flexible guidelines and the fact that borrowers only have to put 3.5% down. So some very interesting statistics here as far as year over year loan modifications. Now it's basically comparing 2020, 2021, and 2022 and year to date of 2023. So I want to basically look at 2020 and compare where we're at right now. Now, basically repayment plans in 2020 was 23,000. Year to date, we're only at 3,000. But what's really, really crazy here is obviously this massive spike in forbearance plans. Now, in 2020, we actually had 675,000 forbearance plans. And in 2021, 206,000 forbearance plans. Now, obviously that shot down in 2022. Why did that shoot down? Because they lifted the foreclosure ban. Because remember, during COVID, the law prevented creditors from foreclosing on us. Pretty amazing, actually. Most of these actions were payment deferrals, starting with 426,000 payment deferrals in 2020. 492,000 in 2021. Now that did go down to 153,000 in 2022 and only 27,000 year to date. So the start of this year has been pretty solid as far as homeowners paying their mortgage. Actual loan modifications was 50,000 in 2020 and 2021 was 62,000. And one thing I want to point out is that actually doubled. So loan modifications doubled from 2020 or 2021 to 2022. To 121,000. So essentially, they prevented 121,000 people from losing their homes last year. That's pretty remarkable. Short sales is in lieu of foreclosure. Short sales during the last great financial collapse were everywhere. Now, short sales totaled 3,000 in 2020. 1,500 in 2021, 600 in 2020, and only 103 year to date. Now ask yourself this question. Why might the short sales be so low right now? And the reality is because most homeowners have a substantial amount of equity so long as they purchase prior to 2022. And if someone has an abundance of equity, they're going to sell their house and cash in before they lose their property. Here's some really, really good information. This is the type of loan modification. This is the data that I have been searching all over the place for. So what are people getting? What is the benefit of this loan modification? Now, the light blue is reduced rate only, which is pretty much non-existent. Now, reduced rate only is followed by the other light blue area, which is extend the term only. So basically taking a mortgage from 30 years to 40 years would be an example of an extended term. Now, the ones in red are an extension of the term, reduced rate, and forbear principal. Okay, so the red represents a whole bunch of benefits, including principal forbearance, you guys, or having a portion of their loan forgiven. And look at these percentages starting at 2020. So you can see that 20% of the loan modifications in 2020 had that principal forgiveness, reduced rate, and extended term. That is a huge benefit. 2021, it went down to 11%, and 2022, 8%. Now, the crazy thing is that has shot up the start of this year. So far this year, we're at 16%, which is double where we were at last year. So I'm wondering, why are double the amount of loan modifications right now getting forbearing some of their principal? I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is maybe I should call my existing lender and ask for a principal reduction on my loan. Really interesting stuff here, but the predominant amount of loan modifications going on right now in 2023 are actually extending the term. Okay, so most of it is extending the term. Technically, 73% of the loan modifications right now are only extending the term, basically, again, from the 30 years to the 40 years. Number 2 is the forbearing principal, followed by, for some reason, number 3, with an extension of the term and also a reduction of the interest rate. As we move further into the future, you're going to be seeing reduced rate only go from 0% to a lot higher, because now there's going to be a lot more room for some of these loan modifications to get lower interest rates. The chart to the right of me basically goes over the size of the payment change. Again, really important information that I've been looking everywhere for, because there's been rumors. How much money are people really saving? The dark blue line, over 30%. The lighter blue is a decrease of 20%, but less than 30. Now the light is less than 20%. Looking at 2022, 33%, shocking me. Okay, this is shocking to me. 33% of the loan modifications in 2022 had a reduction in their payment of 30% or more. 30% or more. Are you kidding me? 32% of them had a reduction in payment between 20 and 29%, which means 65% of the loan modifications in 2022 saved over 20% on their mortgage. No wonder why we don't have a foreclosure problem. This is also an interesting statistic, the number of months in forbearance. So the great number of people in forbearance, or about 40%, have been in forbearance or a repayment plan for less than 3 months. Now, the amount of people that have been over 12 months or over a year is only 3%. Now, back during the last great financial collapse, everyone and their brothers, in order to avoid foreclosure, was short selling their property or selling the property for less than what was owed on the mortgage. And that's basically the definition of a short sell. Now, you guys can pretty much see that short sales have basically been non-existent since about Q2 of 2021. So basically right now, you guys, there are no short sales, because most properties right now have equity, unlike, as you can see here, from 2008 till about 2014. Massive amount of short sales because people didn't have equity. You don't have enough built-in equity to pay off the principal of your mortgage. So what I wanted to show you guys is, yes, the foreclosure starts are historically low. However, they have been going up ever since 2022. Now, again, still historically low, but ask yourself this question: is being a homeowner right now getting easier and cheaper, or is being a homeowner right now getting harder and more expensive? Now, here's a chart of the real estate owned property, or basically the inventory. You guys can see that has basically plateaued, is all the way down. Now, that has started going up since about Q2 of 2022. Now, I also find this very interesting. This is the delinquent loans by state. Now, surprisingly, California is actually way up here, despite what we read in Black Knight, as is Florida, Illinois, New York, surprisingly, Texas. And yet Louisiana is way down here. Now, the reason why this is high like this, guys, is because it's not measuring percentages. It's actually measuring the number of loans. So you can see that even though California has a super low delinquency rate, they have the most amount of loans in delinquency because they have the most amount of loans to begin with. Even though California has a low delinquency rate, they could absolutely be in danger of a foreclosure crisis. I also found this incredibly interesting. This is the deeply delinquent loans in selected states. This is basically people that have been in a repayment plan for 1 to 6 years. So the fact that someone could be in a repayment plan for 6 years to me is absolutely crazy. You guys can see New York is really, really leading the way as far as deeply delinquent loans. I find that incredibly, incredibly interesting. Now, the number 2 state is actually Florida. Now, when all is said and done, if you're a homeowner and you are struggling making your payments, loan modification should be one of the last resorts you take. The reason is because it's not all it's cracked up to be. Depending on the industry, some creditors actually review a loan modification as an actual foreclosure. So understand that if you are going to get a loan modification, odds are you'll also be destroying your credit. According to this data, loan modifications have been incredibly effective at keeping people in their properties. Now, I have a question for you guys, and I really want to know your opinion. Do y'all think that having effective loan modifications is a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing? Because many people think loan modifications aren't good, and that if you can't pay your bills, that you should kick rocks and be kicked out of your house. Other people feel like, hey, life happens. Try to keep these family units together and under the same roof. Let me know what side of the coin you're on. But other than that, guys, I really hope you guys got some new value, insights, and perspective. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you know I wish you luck and I hope you win.